Hey folks, it's your main man Sabado. I'm in Alaska. I think we talked, the last time we talked, I mentioned that we had finally gotten to this place and it was a bucket list trip that did not disappoint. And they say you never know what you have until it's gone. And that's not true because if you look behind me, what you see lovely Ketchikan, Alaska. So we're still here. I thought I would just share with you a little bit of what to expect next regarding this trip. Many of you have asked for pictures and video and just something to help you see what I saw while I was here. And I just got to be honest with you. Alaska is an amazing place. I don't have words to describe it. We took a cruise, we took Celebrity Cruise, and I just got to tell you, Celebrity Cruises, and they're not sponsoring this video, but Celebrity Cruises is, they're just off the charts. We've gone with other cruise lines, and some cruise lines are just out of control, and other cruise lines are, the clientele just doesn't fit. But when we came here, what we realized is that the Celebrity Cruise lines operate more with a resort feel. And so the things that are included are the necessities to be included. You have the opportunity to buy up on some things. You also have the opportunity to really try some different stuff, which we did. I had the opportunity while we were here to indulge in some Maine lobster. Some Alaskan king crab. Tonight's lobster night. I also had some Dungeness crab. Many of you probably don't know that Dungeness crab comes from cold water. So even though we have it back home in the San Francisco area, we also, up here, there was also a lot. But there was a lot going on this trip. I'll tell you, a lot of times, many of you probably know, at least those of you that know me personally know, that I'm always paying attention and on edge about things that are going on socially, because things that impact white Americans impact me twice as hard. So because we deal with police violence, we deal with Karens, we deal with people that accuse us of things or think they're better than us. And so when I got on this cruise, I found that there was a pretty interesting dynamic out of the gate. And that really came from the fact that we're in a climate with Canada right now where, our president is making threats to try to bring Canada into the United States. The Canadian people aren't having that. Most Americans aren't having that, to be honest with you. But what that's done is that's created a tension between Americans and Canadians. And so many of us, at least people in my situation, when I meet people, I have to understand and establish who they are and where they sit right away. And that's just a normal course of action. But now I've had to do that for just about everybody, because not only am I doing that for other people, but the Canadians are doing that to us. I had the opportunity to meet a couple of Canadian couples, and I had that conversation. And it's hard for them not to be frustrated with Americans right now. It's hard not to say that. And so I say all that not to get into a political rant, but it impacts and becomes a palpable vibe on the ship. And because this cruise went out of Canada, a lot of people that aren't willing to come to the States, they left out of Canada. So it's easier to fly to Canada right now. Canadians aren't traveling to the US in the same way that they were. And it's easier for foreign people because, let's face it, if you're a foreign national and you come to the United States right now for whatever reason, with everything that's going on, you may run the risk of not being able to get home or getting delayed at the airport and having to pay some extra money. There's a whole bunch of things that happen or that could potentially happen. And whether it's true or not, that's what people are thinking. Plus, people are just frustrated. People are tired. People are worn out. And so that vibe really permeated on the ship. I had the opportunity to meet a guy, and he was wearing a John Deere hat. He was a farmer. And we had a whole conversation about trying to bridge the gap between farmers and city folk, because I think that's an important conversation to have. I think it's important for people to have information about vaccine safety and have vaccine awareness, and I think that's an important conversation to have. And one of the conversations that I had as an upshot of that, where I helped a person who lives on a farm in a remote part of Canada understand that vaccines do work, and they've helped me and they've helped a bunch of people, and particularly coming out of a healthcare setting. The reality was a lot of people told me, yeah, and they came up to me and told me that he's probably not going to listen. But I know that's true, but I think we all have an obligation to try to educate in the areas that we feel fairly comfortable in. But besides that, I'll tell you, I did meet and made friends with and reinforce my allyship for people in the international community and people that may not have a chance to speak for themselves, and that's what I do. So, so I think the activities were great in terms of where we went, and I'm going to do a whole video next week that shows you videos and pictures of some of what I saw. We saw a whale. We were looking out of the ship at the glaciers. We saw a whale right under us. We just looked out, right down. If you look down below me, there's a bunch of water, and in that water they have jellyfish. So I had the opportunity to see some jellyfish. If I could get the pictures to show right, I'll show you those. And then there's just a whole lot that goes on these cruises. So we saw Dawes Glacier, and the glacier was just incredible. We saw bald eagles. We saw we saw everything. We saw everything you could see. I ate some Alaskan king crab, and if you take into account that I'm 6'8", you can imagine how long my arms are and how long my wingspan is. Well, my Alaskan king crab literally went from the tip of my hands back to my elbows, and it's just insane. So we did that. We went on the train, and the train took us up about 3,000 feet, and we were able to see a whole bunch of the stuff, a whole bunch of nature and wildlife, just from that part of the trip, and from that train ride. It was incredible. I can't. I asked my wife today. I said, this is a bucket list trip. Does it stand up to the billing of being a bucket list trip? And her answer was unequivocally yes. So I'm going to talk about all of that probably next week in another video, but I'm just going to suggest to anybody out there that's thinking about traveling to Alaska, do it. It's worth it. It's worth the money. It'll cost you a little bit, and we didn't pay. We had one excursion, but we used our onboard credit for that. But the excursions can become expensive. They cost a lot, and so you got to be careful about that. But if you keep it simple, like my wife and I do, I think you'll find yourself in a position where you really can have an Alaska adventure that fits who you are as a person. And I think that's the way to go. I think any vacation that you go on, you should plan to have that vacation be what fits you. How do you roll? What do you do? How do you move? What are the things that are important to you that are on vacation? And and I'll tell you, leave it in the comments kind of what your thoughts are about how you do it. Now I do think, again, whenever you get a bunch of people in one place, there's always a chance for some stuff to happen, but that's okay. But when you're retired, all you're doing is you're experiencing life. We're tired. We've been in a casino every night. The first night I won $1,100, so yahoo to the big guy. Put some of that back, but we're still up. I don't know, excuse the video, I'm having some technical difficulties, but that's what happens when you're on a cruise. I'm not being technical today. No editing, nothing. So you're getting it raw, rugged and raw. I repeat, when I die, my soul will be ill like me. But so we won some money, we lost some money, and we won it again. So now we're still up about $900 for the trip. So that's not bad. So I just think it's really worth it. And even if you're not coming to Alaska, I just think it's important to get out just to clear your head, because as Snoop once put it, there's so much drama in the LBC. It's so hard being Snoop D-O double G. And even though I'm kind of upset with Snoop right now, I do think that he had a point. And these are the times that you can decompress, you can focus on what's important, spend time with those that you care about, and make YouTube videos, because that's what I'm doing. So anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one short, but I wanted to make sure, I've committed to you, my viewers, that I was gonna give you a video every week. I've been consistent with that every week. I'm in an international location, so it's difficult to do the editing and to do all of that, but I did want to get a video out to you that just let you know where we were, and let you know that we saw glaciers and we saw wildlife and we rode the train and we rode gondolas and we did all these other exciting things. And just waking up in the morning, looking out in the ocean and just seeing the beauty, nature's beauty, that's just, land that human beings have never walked on, and mountains that humans never skied on, and just stuff. It's just incredible. I just don't think there's a place or a thing you can do that's more enriching than that. Now, I will tell you that it was cold. It was 48 degrees, so that's a little chilly. Today's a warmer day. I think it's like 51, 52. But today at home, it's 106. So pick your poison. It's either one. You could get with this or you can get with that. But you can't beat that with a bat. But on that note, have a good rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon.